guys, welcome back. This can be part 6 of the Space Firebird. I have the cabinet down here and a bunch of the parts. I want to start with the control panel overlay, put that on, put the buttons on there, and then work on putting the wood grain on the fronts and sides of the cabinet, which is sitting over here. So let's get this on first. We printed this a couple weeks ago, so we'll see how it fits. Obviously, none of these things ever seem to fit perfectly, but we're going to stick a light underneath it so that we can try to line up the buttonholes as close as possible. I'm just going to do one side at a time here, move the light over and see what it looks like. Yeah, see, they're off, per usual. They usually always are. So now we got to kind of split the difference to the best we can. If I line these two up, then these ones are going to be off. Maybe not too bad. I think I'm going to have to kind of shift it that way and just kind of split the difference. Let's see what it looks like here in a second. What I'm trying to do is make sure when the button goes in there, it covers the white up around it. It's close. A little bit more. Fairly confident that will cover. I think it'll cover. The only thing we could have done was colored that in, but didn't think of it. I think that's probably about as best as it's going to get there. So let's peel this top off here, stick that part on. In a couple hours, I'm going to Arcade Jason's. I'm gonna bring that TV over there, see if he wants to just do like a quick video on it. And then I'm gonna be taking measurements for that cabinet for Space Duel. Because I have a sheet of that melamine in my van and I want to get it out of there. So I think tomorrow's the day we're gonna go ahead and build that cabinet. Okay, now we can unclamp it. Doesn't fit horrible. I mean, it's a little off, but tell you what, there's really not very many of them that aren't. Just cutting it right at the edge. I'm not even wasting my time bending it over. Forgot to bring my heat gun in. Might have to go get that in a little bit. Maybe. Seems like it's sticking. I'm gonna leave that little white edge under there. It's not gonna matter. Once it's on the cabinet, you'll never see it. Right. I think the buttons are all going to cover. Oh boy, it's close. Real close there. darn close. Makes me wonder if I could just put a little bit of this over it. The one side covers. So just this one. Just want to check it first. Yep, you'll never even notice that. Basically, it was just kind of like under the edge of the button. You can kind of see around it a little bit. Oh, you know what? These are long buttons. I need short buttons. Crap. I gotta go see if I have short, yellow, and blue and red. These are all long ones. Go see what I have. The black ones I have for the player 1 and player 2 starter short. Okay, I found some buttons, some used ones. I cleaned them up with some Novus 3. I keep calling these orange, but they're actually yellow. Because I actually have some orange ones, and they're definitely oranger than that. So I have all short ones now for everywhere. So this side gets 2 yellows, and then it goes red and then blue. If you hear the puppy crying, it's because she wants the cat. She likes playing with the cat. So I'm going to go ahead and get all these put on. We're not going to make a wiring harness yet. I got to figure that out still, but I want to get the control panel together, wood grain on the cabinet, coin door on, maybe the marquee and stuff like that. All right, turned out real nice. So that is all done. Buttons aren't too far off, a little bit, but hey, can't really complain. So now I'm going to set up so we can start putting the wood grain on the cabinet. Okay, I've never used this stuff before. Came from Amazon. I could put the link below in the description so you guys know what it is. Let's see how it works first. But we're going to cut a piece off. A little bit longer than what we need. Okay. And it's not like we really need to line anything up, which is nice. Just kind of got to get it up there. Make sure we cover on both sides. Definitely pretty sticky. I will give it that. I think that's pretty good. see what it does. Not sure about bending it over the edge like I normally would do. Might be a little bit too rigid for that. Maybe if I heat it up. But to be honest with you, I don't know that I really need to bend it over the edge. I painted around the T-molding edge, if you guys saw that. Move this back a little bit. Try to get you guys a little bit better view here. But I had painted the front edge where the T-molding goes, so you know, if the T-molding's off a little bit, hanging off the edge a little bit, you're not going to notice it because it's black. This stuff is made for like cabinets and stuff, so I'd imagine it should work pretty good. And it feels like wood grain. It has definitely the wood grain feel to it. Seems like it applies really nicely. I don't think I'm going to wrap the edges because I don't think I want to deal with it possibly puckering up on me. So I'm just going to cut it around the edges. Cut this long. So if you look here, it's got some pretty good adhesive on the back. I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not. See if I can get a good angle of it. But it's, I mean, it sticks to your finger pretty good. So what I'm going to do is just run my knife right along the edge. Take my time. So my first initial thought, I think it's really good. I'm very impressed with it so far. It sticks really nice. It looks really good. Cuts really good. Some of the jagged cuts, that's just user error. But yeah, I mean, Now, somebody had asked me if I was going to paint the bottom edge of the cabinet because the particle board was so rough. And yes, I did plan on doing that. When I go to flip this cabinet on its back to put the T-molding on, that bottom edge of the cabinet, it gets T-molding all along the bottom. But I did bring the Krylon paint in here and a little tiny paintbrush, and I figured I was just going to put brush down it to just kind of like seal off the particle board, and then there'll be a T-mold that snaps over top of it. But first thoughts, I think this looks awesome. It's not exactly the color that originally was. It's a hair off. What it is like the graining isn't as dark as what it was originally, but I think it looks awesome. And the roll was like 70 bucks, and it's enough to do 2 cabinets. So you'll be able to do 2 sides and a front twice. So $35 a cabinet. I mean, how can you really go wrong? I like it. So now, and I'm not a wood grain fan, believe me, but that's what this came with, so I try to always put it back to what it was. Make sure I don't have any bubbles. There's like no bubbles or anything. Let's get a good look at the side of it. And then I'll do the other side on camera, but we'll just fast forward it. But look at it. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to tell that that wasn't original. I mean, there's no bubbles. There's no nothing. It's nice and flat and straight. Obviously, the bodywork also does help with that. The better bodywork you do, clearly going to turn out better in the end. And I got to get this other Tato cabinet together so that we can do more videos on that. So we're going to put this one on. I'll just kind of high speed through it. And then, I don't know what I got on the side of the cabinet. There's something on there. Don't know what it is. Must have been when I brought it in the house last night. But anyways, oh, I slid it down the stairs on the side. That's what it was. I didn't want to slide it on the back, so I slid it on the side on the carpet, and it just kind of left some weird marks on it, which I wasn't worried about because it's getting covered with vinyl anyway. So that's what that was. But anyways, we're gonna high speed through this side and then the front. And I still got to cut that bottom edge, but I need to get on the floor to do that. I might honestly just do it once I lay the cabinet back to do the T-molding. So let me go ahead and get this side on the front, and then we'll come back and take a look at it. What do you think, guys? Tell me that does not look awesome. Okay, so now I'm real excited and jazzed about this because it worked. It looks great. Got to put the T-molding on. When I made my Frogger cabinet, I made it because I could not find one at the time. And we went off of like some measurements and stuff offline, so it was never an exact replica of the cabinet, okay? It is a little different than what it should be. So what I'm going to do is I have that extra carnival cabinet, and I'm going to turn that carnival cabinet into a Frogger. So I'm going to take my control panel, my coin door, all the internals, everything, and put them into that, and restore that cabinet. And then I'll wood grain it with this same vinyl wood grain, so it'll match. And then they can sit next to each other and they'll be exact same profile. And then at some point when Carnival's done, that'll sit next to it as well. The Carnival is white. The one I'm going to use is the white cabinet. And then so that's going to look really good. So I'm going to have two of these identical next to each other, with the third one, which will be Carnival, which will be white in color. But I need to lay this on its back now, throw a little paint on the bottom, let it set for 15-20 minutes. That stuff dries really fast. And then we'll put the T-molding on, stand the cabinet back up, get the coin door on, and just screw around with a few more things. Now, before I lay this back, I want to put this piece of trim back on the top that I unstapled. This piece right here goes underneath the control panel. I gotta grab a hammer because I was able to pull it off and save the staples in it. So we're just gonna re-staple this down. The funny thing is this molding here looks like a molding that they use for ceramic tile and stuff like that. I wonder if that's what that is back in the day. In a little while here, like I said, I gotta go to Arcade Jason's, and I think there's a Hobby Lobby out by him. I'm gonna take my other phone with me for a camera, and we're gonna go to Hobby Lobby before we go to Jason's, and I gotta see how late they're open actually. If they're open, I'm gonna go to Hobby Lobby before I go to Jason's, and we're gonna pick up 2 pieces of that matting so that we can make the screen bezel for inside of here. I want to show you what it is and where it's at Hobby Lobby in case anybody needs some. Now, before we lay it down, we gotta see what the control panels look like. I still gotta cut the holes out for the bolts actually that hold it down. Look at that, that looks awesome. Something that this cabinet probably never thought it was gonna be. It goes back to its original. So now I'm going to pull that control panel off, we'll lay it on its back, we'll throw some paint on it, and then we'll put the T-molding on. Actually, a lot of the paint misted under there really well, believe it or not. A little more than I thought it would have. I guess that's the benefit of spraying it. Using a cheap-ass little brush here, 50-cent brush. Probably wipe the cabinet off too on the bottom. It's all got overspray on it that's like loose. Oops, got some paint on the front. once it dries. All right, you guys know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna go ahead and brush this top and the other side real quick. There was a little Bondo stuck in the T-molding groove at the bottom, so I had to use my multi-tool to cut out the little bit of Bondo so that the T-molding could slide in. Right here, I'm just cleaning up a little bit of the vinyl that did not cut perfectly around the edges. Yeah, it's looking pretty awesome. I'll tell you what, I'm really kind of liking the polished carriage bolts rather than the painted black ones. I just think it gives it a little bit more detail so that you can, when you look at that, you're like, oh yeah, that was taken apart and fixed, or it's original, or you know, a lot of times you see everything painted black and you know damn well they just took a spray can and painted right over it on the cabinet without taking it apart. This way it looks like it's a little bit more detailed, a little more refined. You could tell it was taken apart, cleaned thoroughly, put back together. So I'm gonna run out to the shop now and polish up this Space Firebird, control panel, Marquee. So this is an original one made for this cabinet, but you can see it's, you know, it's got its scratches and stuff on the face. So I'm gonna try to polish this up, make it look a little nicer. There's some scratches on the backside, and I don't think I'm gonna touch them up because I think if I do, I might make it worse. But we'll see what it looks like once the light shows through. So I'm gonna run that out back and polish that. I'm just gonna do that off camera. You saw me do that before. But I will be doing a video on polishing the plexiglass that covers the monitor itself. Cut a new piece of poster board here for this one that goes behind the Marquee light. You can see how this one's all faded out and looks like shit. So I cut a new piece for that. So all right, I'm gonna go polish that and I'll be back in. All right, I polished up that Marquee. It looks pretty good. I'm gonna just stick it up there for tonight and just stick the control panel on there because I'm running out of time for today. So at least see what it looks like. So that's where we're at so far, guys. It's a interesting little artwork that they did. It's strange, but hey, it is what it is, and that's what they did. So just gonna take a quick look at the side and front together. It looks pretty damn good. So let me know what you guys think. This is end of part 6. We're getting there. I do have all the boards for it. Missing one board, which will be here beginning of next week. It is a color inverter board for the monitor. So it takes the colors coming from the board and switches them back to normal to go into the monitor. Arcade Jason says there was a way to do it on the circuit board itself by switching an NPN for a PNP transistor, or vice versa. I forget which one he said, but I just found the inverter board. It was fairly cheap. It was like 30 bucks. So I just bought that so that all the wiring is kind of pretty much normal. I have most of the wiring for it. We're probably gonna have to make a couple harnesses. I still don't know if the board set works or not yet. I mean, the guy who I bought it from somebody that it was working, but never tested it, so it's kind of a shot in the dark there. I did order the capacitors for the power supply here. This power supply is extremely good shape, but I ordered these 4 big capacitors here, and I already have these ones. These are supposed to be here on Sunday from Amazon. I ordered 10 packs of them, so I'm obviously going to have extra, but we're just going to swap out these capacitors. And I would imagine this should work. It worked before, it just took some time to warm up. So, all right, guys, that's going to end part 6. Once again, if you wouldn't mind hitting the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Doesn't cost anything. Any questions or comments, feel free to ask. Other than that, guys, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.